not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. You know, I heard Canelo say in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that, and William Skull being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. And so was curious to see, you know, how Canelo...
They announced it on Saturday after the whole Canelo fight, and I don't understand. This is a big fight. I don't know. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a UFC boxing fan. I'm a fan. But this fight, I ain't gonna lie, it might cause a little race war between blacks and Mexicans because, you know, Canelo's fans is kind of crazy. But
Terence Crawford recently delivered a clear warning to Canelo Alvarez during a live stream. Looking straight into the camera, Crawford said, "In September, I'm going to show the world what greatness looks like." This wasn't a vague or general statement. It was direct and clearly meant for one man. Crawford wasn't talking about some distant goal. He was declaring that the fight in September is his next mission, and is not stepping into the ring just to challenge himself. He's coming to win.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, you know. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Over the past few months, Crawford's tone has shifted from playful to sharp. It began earlier this year when he tweeted, "Remember what you said about me." That tweet came after years of Canelo dismissing the idea of a fight, claiming Crawford was too small. At that time, Crawford didn't respond with a heated reply. He simply planted a seed. Now, it's grown into something personal. That recent live stream marked a turning point. Crawford is ready to turn talk into action.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? You know, but those intangibles.
Crawford's confidence doesn't come from hope. It's built on his track record. Recently, he made another subtle jab online, saying, "Now don't make Daddy take his belt off, son. You've been a good boy lately. Don't make Papa mad now." It may have sounded light-hearted, but the message was clear. Crawford sees himself in control. He views Canelo's recent performances as soft. According to Crawford, the Canelo of today isn't the same beast he was 4 or 5 years ago, and in the upcoming fight, Crawford believes he will expose that.
Crawford and his fans would have never in their life allowed Crawford to fight 36 rounds with Canelo. I know Crawford and his fans will never in their life ask him to fight David Benavidez. I know Crawford and his fans will never in their life ask to fight Dimitri Bivol. We're talking like, about, I'm not done, my friend, because you're like on, that weed is real. I need some of that weed because, you know.
Oscar De La Hoya, someone who knows both fighters well, recently shared his thoughts on the possible outcome of the fight on September 13 TH. Crawford is not one-dimensional. He can move, he can box. I just don't know if he hits hard enough to keep Canelo off of him, but it's going to be very interesting. De La Hoya's concern isn't about Crawford's skill, it's about his power. And that's a central question heading into this matchup. Can Crawford hit hard enough to make Canelo respect him?
I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev
was older.
Oscar De La Hoya admitted he's genuinely excited about the upcoming fight, even though he's unsure about the outcome. It's a matchup that sparks real curiosity. Crawford has turned many doubters into believers, but facing someone who's been fighting at super middleweight for years is a different kind of challenge that is not just going up against a bigger name. He's going up against a naturally bigger man, Manny Pacquiao, a fighter who understands the risks of moving up weight classes better than most, gave Crawford a piece of advice during a recent discussion. When asked what he would tell the Omaha native, Pacquiao replied plainly, "My advice is that he should focus on speed. That's a problem when you're moving up in weight. You lose speed and power. He needs to concentrate on that."
Spaceman Films. What up, Biz? Who you got? Canelo Crawford.
Yeah. Got Canelo. I heard the punches that he hit Charlo with. I don't know if Crawford can absorb those punches. I know he's a great man and a great warrior. When you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo, I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody could do better than Charlo did last night.
Do skill really pay the bill? Because that would be tested.
Pay the bill. That's why Canelo's skillful too.
Why Canelo's style matters. That's a key to Crawford's chances. He isn't going to win this fight through size or brute strength. He has to win it by being faster, sharper, and more alert. Crawford's entire style is built on angles, timing, and control. He has never relied on raw power. But at 168, facing a man who has traded punches with heavy hitters for years, his skills will be tested like never before. Former WBA super middleweight champion George Groves, who knows the division inside out, shared a more skeptical view. I just can't see how Canelo doesn't win, Groves said. He's had a lot of fights, but he doesn't seem worn out. There's not too many miles on the clock.
Yeah, that's a nice division. You got a lot of tough fighters in that division. Yeah. Of course, Crawford came in there, and you know, he got one match in, and now he's moving on to fight the big one, Canelo.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight, man?
And I mean, I got it even, to be honest. I mean, Canelo's got definitely more fight experience.
Groves noted that while Canelo might not be the biggest guy at super middleweight,
Groves also noted that while Canelo may not be the biggest man at super middleweight, he has grown into the weight. His body is now built for the physical demands of the division. Meanwhile, Crawford only recently moved up to 154 and is now jumping straight to 168. To Groves, that's a red flag. I can't see him putting any physical dent in Canelo, he added. Crawford is an amazing fighter, an astute, clever boxer who has almost every shot in the book. His balance is tremendous, but I think this is a step too far. That's a view shared by many in the sport. They admire Crawford's talent, but they believe this leap might be one bridge too far, not because he lacks skill, but because weight classes exist for a reason.
I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
Yeah. You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's physically kind of big, but height wise, yeah.
Still, not everyone agrees with that perspective. Sugar Ray Leonard, a 5-division world champion who knows what it takes to move up in weight, offered his thoughts during a May 22nd interview. When asked if the size difference was too much, Leonard acknowledged the risk, but he didn't count Crawford out. I mean, that's true. But you know what? There's always a way. There's always a way to win, Leonard said. His words weren't just motivational. They came from experience. Leonard has lived the kind of challenge Crawford is about to face. And what he's saying is that sometimes skill, discipline, and belief can beat bulk and power. Crawford is hoping that's still true.
What about Crawford do you think can bridge the weight gap? Or with you, what did bridge the weight gap? Because a lot of people are just saying, hey, Canelo's just too big for someone like Terence.
That's true, but you know what? There's always a way. Put it that there's always a way. There's always a way to win.
Veteran promoter Bob Arum, who has followed both fighters' careers closely, took a different stance. He didn't question Crawford. He questioned Canelo. Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman, Arum said in a recent interview. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. Arum wasn't being disrespectful. He was being blunt on his watch Canelo evolve from a ruthless, aggressive fighter into a more cautious, calculated boxer. In Arum's view, that evolution could backfire against someone like Crawford, a man who still fights with urgency and heart.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest?
Arum continued, if Canelo really fights, because I think it's safe to say that Terence always fights, he doesn't know anything else, then it could be a very interesting fight. The real question, according to Arum, isn't whether Crawford shows up ready. It's about which version of Canelo shows up. Will it be the veteran who plays it safe, or the younger warrior who used to trade shot without hesitation? Arum ended with a question many fans are already asking. Who is Canelo now? The one chasing a big paycheck, or the one who wants to fight like a real fighter? Because the Canelo we've seen over the last 2 years has not only been boring, he's lacked the drive to mix it up and give fans a real fight.
Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think it's safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight.
That question now hangs over the entire fight. It's not just about fighting style. It's about motivation. Crawford is hungry. He's coming in with something to prove. He sees this as a legacy-defining fight. Canelo, despite all his achievements, hasn't shown that same fire recently. And if that continues, Crawford might find the opening he needs. Make no mistake, this isn't a payday for Crawford. His warning, delivered live just days ago, wasn't for show. It was a statement of intent that has been climbing for years. He cleaned out 140, he dominated 147. He moved up to 154 without hesitation, and now he's skipping 160 entirely to face the top man at 168.